In a world filled with magic, gods and men make war. The fabric of time is torn asunder, though the true tempest is not yet upon us. None shall weather these trials alone, and few survive them together, for there can be no balancing of the scales in the wake of ebon storms.
Last time in Ebon Storms, Episode 3, Father Nifgant and Allandra the Blue arrived at the clearing in the Garring Deep to find 4 unconscious, badly wounded bodies strewn about. After Father Nifgant's healing, they learned who the injured were. Thangar, a warrior from Maldrick Forge, Krannik the Green, an older, eloquent member of the Mages Guild, Elrad, a curious young man with greatly developed psychic abilities, and Trellin, a beautiful, deaf, and very mysterious woman of undetermined race. Nifgant and Allandra soon learned that there were 2 more members of the group missing. Lady Farsha, a noble paladin of Illuma, and Charn, a thief of questionable honor. The group assumed the 2 missing members made for the nearby town of Shazgarath. They followed. Once there, the group learned that Lady Farsha had taken Charn to Shazgarath by way of Morven Reach, a perilous tract of the Garring Deep. The group decided to follow the next day. While in Bregner, Father Nifgant was informed of the history of this wounded and separated group. They are 6 of the same group who destroyed Ralcazar several hundred years earlier and had just been thrown back to the present before being found. The 7th member of the group was the famed priestess of Illuma Valaria, who sacrificed herself for her friends and her world, and accepted her fate on faith alone. And now, Episode 4, Be Wary.
In Bregner, again the cloud-filled sky obscures the rising sun, allowing only gradual brightening. Allandra the Blue awakens and sits up on her goose-down bed, listening intently. No sound can be heard from the adjacent rooms.
Good. No one else stirs yet. Does Bregner sleep as well? Empty street. Such a small town. I wonder what living here would be like. A quiet town without towers, intrigue, responsibilities. Responsibilities. The morning council should be done by now. I'll try contacting Gareth again. Mirror bright, gall tereth, fain firth, distant light, fain floreth, mirror spoken, Dane broken, mirror sight. Damn, still nothing. I wonder what could have happened. Well, I'll wager my pin still works. 4th day, middle harvest, follows guild. Formal record, entry 4. After the first day traveling with my newfound companions, I am more certain than ever that you, my friend, were right. Something strange goes on here, something centered around these people. Yesterday, the warrior Thangar, the first to awaken to Father Nifgant's healing, mentioned Ralcazar. Perhaps I should start at the beginning. While riding through the deep, my horse startled and bucked me when red lightning struck ground some distance away. This was no ordinary lightning. I remember seeing it before, somewhere. When I reached the spot where it had struck, I found several unconscious figures. One was the warrior I mentioned above. Nothing distinguishes him except his professed heritage. He claims to be the survivor of the massacre at Maldrick Forge, the weapons fortress attacked and burned to the ground by ShadowRiders. Indeed, he carries a blade of that stock, a great sword, one of the largest I've encountered. From the scars he bears, it would seem he knows its use as well. Also among this group is a guild member of green robes named Krannik, an old man of at least 50. I assume his lack of ambition has held him back, for he radiates a strong magic aura. Finally, we come to possibly the 2 most intriguing members. The first, a boy of no more than 20 years. His simple brown robes invite little attention, but Elrod deserves much. He possesses special powers which he claims are not magical in nature. He performs amazing deeds with his mind. Last night, by merely grasping a bowl, he was able to recall the thoughts of the last person to handle it. He has power, but not experience. We would do well to study this, however. Elrad could prove very useful to the guild. The other intriguing one calls herself Trellin. She remains a mystery to me. She seems not to be of any Remilian stock I know. Small and thin, with wispy blonde hair. Very pretty, though her ears come to points. She wears a royal scarlet gown, a platinum tiara with strange markings, and a golden bracelet fashioned in the likeness of a coiled serpent. Truly royal garments, but of what royalty? I suspect that she has come from far away, perhaps from the other side of the world. A very quiet woman. I shall have to ask about her. Back to the matter at hand. I have not been able to uncover why the warrior mentioned Ralcazar. These people hold tight rein on their tongues. According to the guild's histories, Ralcazar was once high priest of the Zenacarian church. Perhaps their tongues will loosen some. Currently we are searching for the two remaining members of the party, Farsha and Charn. I am told that Farsha bears the title of Lady Paladin, and Charn, if Thangar speaks truthfully, is a no-account thief. These two were missing when I and Father Nifigate happened upon the others. Thangar will stop at nothing to find them. He suspects the thief has abducted her. I cannot yet make any guesses as to what this portends, but I am certain that this situation requires our attention, if for no other reason but that the Holy Church of Illuma has taken interest in this. I will travel with this group and gather more information. Although they certainly do not trust me, none seems willing to challenge me. Father Nifigate, however, he maintains that he is a priest from the small town of Shazgarath who had just happened upon them at the same time as I. He certainly looks the part of a village priest. They have accepted him as one of their own, but the church has always been trusted more than we, though the church always has its hand in people's money pouches. End of entry. My companions awaken.
Allandra closes the book, puts it away, sits on her bed, and listens intently, absent-mindedly thumbing through her spellbook. She stops as she hears doors slowly creak open. Allandra smiles as she imagines them silently creeping down the hall. She knows they are trying to leave her behind. Allandra rises and throws her pack over her shoulder. The group has just reached the bottom of the stairs when Allandra catches up with them.
Good morning.
Damn.
It seems you may have forgotten to knock on my door as you passed. Surely you weren't trying to leave me behind?
Allandra, what possible interest could the mighty guild have in our little group? Surely you can find a conflict to meddle in somewhere else.
How dare you speak to me and your guild in this manner? You, Krannik the Green, not only hold membership in the guild, but you stand in front of a superior. I expect you to act as such. As for my own reasons, they are none of your concern.
My lady, age as well as position command respect. You would do well.
Perhaps this is not...
Quiet, all of you! We leave now to find Farsha. Argue later!
The group, including Allandra, leaves town on fresh horses, provided at no cost by Mirch. After being warned about the dangers of Morven Reach, they start out on a faint and muddy trail to Shazgarath. The first day passes by rather uneventfully, though waterlogged, with the party's biggest foe, an unfortunate Grymon, which happened to scurry by near evening. After enjoying a meal of fresh roast Grymon, the party camps for the night, setting out at dawn the next day. As the party nears Morven Reach, the forest becomes much more quiet until Allandra attempts a conversation.
So, friend Trellin, tell me. I have never seen anyone like you before. From what part of Vermilia do you hail? Trellin? Trellin!
Screaming at her would do you no good, mage. She can't hear you. She's deaf.
She reads lips, then.
What else?
Don't waste your time with Trellin, mage. She's lost part of her memory. You don't want to talk to her. She can't tell you anything.
I think I'll decide that for myself, thank you. Trellin. Pardon me, Trellin.
Oh, excuse me. Is there something wrong?
No, dear. I just want to ask some questions. Where is your home?
What?
As a member of the Mages Guild, I must ask you some questions. Please answer them as best as you are able. Now, from where do you come?
This should be interesting.
Far away, I think. But not in place, in time.
What?
Oh, for Illuma's sake. If it will keep you from inquisitioning my friends, I'll tell you our story. Listen well, though, for I will not repeat it. About 3 weeks ago, the world was a lot different than it is now. In fact, you, along with all the other Violet mages, all higher mages for that matter, were probably dead. Most of the East had already been conquered by a horde of undead led by an evil general named Ralcazar.
You lie! No one could defeat the guild. You rave as well. I was in the East mere days ago.
If you wish to hear our story, you will hold your tongue, my lady. As I was saying, the Black Host continued to march west, destroying every town and village in its path. The lot of us, plus Charn, Farsha, and a priestess of Illuma named Valaria, through chance or fate, ended up in a small inn near Dismana. We knew the enemy was coming, but we had no idea how far they'd advanced. We were about to turn in for the night when a wounded soldier burst in to warn us that the Black Host's scouts already marched on Dismana. We hurriedly left the inn, hoping to disappear into the deep before we were detected. No luck that night, however. We were quickly surrounded by a score of dervish guards. The circle widened to let a man through, and that was the first time we met Ralcazar. Fingering a jet-black amulet around his neck, he finally smiled and said, I can't remember his exact words.
He said, Lord Zendikar will be pleased that the Children of Light were extinguished so easily.
Do you mind, or would you like to tell the story?
Sorry, I just have a good memory, that's all.
Well, don't ask me why he called us then. We don't know. Next thing we knew, we were locked in the back of an eastward-bound prison wagon. Credit Charn with our escape, he picked the lock. We ran into the deep, pursued by a dozen or so guards. We didn't think we had a chance, but
Quiet. This'll have to wait. We're entering Morven Reach.
Silence overtakes the party as they near Morven Reach. The scenery here vastly differs from that of the outer deep. The trees are all dead, rotting caricatures of life, staring with malevolent, unseeing eyes. No birds or forest animals are heard. On a sunny day, the Reach remains a sinister place, but during the season of storms, it transforms into a region of nightmares. Trellin pulls her thin shawl closer to keep out the chill wind. Thangar rides with one hand on his Maldrick blade. Elrad closes his eyes in meditation. Nifigit utters a silent prayer, trying to stem his growing fear, while Allandra looks about warily.
It was nothing. Just a dead branch falling in the wind.
Then why do you have your sword drawn?
I'll do as I please with my sword, woman.
You will address me
Did
as
you
my
hear
lady.
that? Did you hear that?
Hear what? Someone tell me. What did you hear?
I don't know. My ears must deceive me. It sounded like a little girl crying for help. It came over that way.
Help me!
It is. A little one needs our help. Children can wander too far into the deep and get lost.
You forget where we are. This could be a trap.
What's over that way, Father?
I'm not certain. We avoid Morven Reach as much as we can. I do know that the Reach holds deep box canyons, though, hidden by heavy brush. The child could have easily fallen into one.
Elrad, can you sense anyone near?
I sense many presences in this forest.
How many?
But I can't tell any more than that.
Thanks for the help.
Can you do any better?
Perhaps I can.
With everyone watching, some more warily than others, Allandra dismounts and draws a hasty circle with a handful of tiny gray beads from a pouch at her waist.
Via tar sol, Nagoth son, Kalis Feria Shaladar lone.
A cylinder of azure light springs up from the circle, obscuring her form. A moment later, it dissipates. She breaks the circle with her foot, and with everyone waiting expectantly, climbs back on her horse.
Well?
I sense a presence in the direction from which the call came. It does not live, however. It is surely a trap.
Then we must skirt thee. Wait a minute, where's Nifigit?
Damn! Come on!
The party races in the direction of the cries, hoping to find Nifigit in time to warn him. They come upon a box canyon suddenly, and Nifigit's horse. Dismounting, they look down to find Nifigit already halfway down the treacherous slope. In the canyon center, at the bottom, lies a little girl. Her foot lies caught under a rock.
Help me! Help me, please!
Don't worry, child. I'm coming.
It was a little girl. So much for flashy spells.
The dead return to life.
There are such things as illusions, you know. One can be made to see other than the truth.
Damn. Father! Stay back!
Allandra's right. I still don't sense a little girl.
All of you stay back. We can't let Nifigit do this.
Krannik reaches into a belt pouch, pulling out a handful of ashes, which he smears on his hands.
Der wat Gyrin A Tonu Felak and Silvadis.
No!
Dodging Krannik's flames, the little girl's figure springs several feet above the canyon floor and hangs there, hovering. She starts to change. She grows taller. Her form becomes hideous and scarred, that of a spectral hag. Her nails stretch into razor-sharp talons, and her now withered skin dangles loosely from her warped skeleton.
Attack!
Krannik and Allandra quickly open their spellbooks, while Elrad and Thangar rush down the valley towards Nifigit, who still walks trance-like towards the canyon center. Trellin stands rigid at the canyon's rim, a distant look in her eyes as if she were trying to remember something. Nifigit stops at the canyon's bottom, heedless of the hag's arctic stare.
Warm, pure soul, long have I waited to touch.
The hag reaches a gnarled hand towards Nifigit's shoulder. Nifigit crumples to the ground, turning whiter than his robes. The hag keeps its gnarled hand pressed on him until Thangar severs her arm with a sword swipe. While Thangar guards against the hag, Elrad manages to drag Nifigit a short distance away along the canyon floor. The hag floats down and picks up her severed, rotted limb. Grafting it back to her body, the hag bears a festering, toothless grin as she advances on Thangar.
Foolish woman, do not fight me. I need you. Come, let me kiss.
Thangar slashes savagely at the hag, who avoids his blows with unearthly agility. Elrad tries in vain to awaken Nifigit, now lying motionless at the edge of the canyon bowl. Above them, the mages discuss their options.
Anything?
No, my spells only affect the living. And you?
I have several spells, but I'd catch everyone with the discharge. Wait, I have a spell of protection which might... Oh no, Thangar's down.
I'll distract it with my dagger. I can't affect it with my magic, but I may be able to give Thangar and the others time. Cast your spell when... Look!
The two look to see Trellin standing at the lip of the canyon, singing with arms arced above her head. Rings of golden light wink into being around her poised form, then spring suddenly up and then down to encircle the floating hag. The rings fly higher with the song's magic, the hag now looming high above the canyon floor. The glittering rings clench suddenly, and the enraged hag writhes in pain, struggling to break the ever-tightening coils. At the top of the canyon, Allandra and Krannik cover their ears and fall to the ground. The hag detonates in a shadowed coruscation of golden light. Her song finished, Trellin crumples to the ground, unconscious, and the box canyon falls once again into darkness. Morven Reach, coiled within the Gerding Deep, inspires fear in nearly all. Countless have been frightened by the ghastly stories told of this ominous wooded stretch. On the Reach's eastern marge, not more than 2 leagues from a darkened box canyon where a small party recovers from a brush with death, lies a stone keep on a tall hill overlooking Shazgarath. Once home to the finest of people, it now lies in ruin. Legend has it that ghosts roam the abandoned keep, and if you listen closely in the middle of a storm like today's, you might just hear screams coming from within. Beyond the abandoned keep's gates, a group of swordsmen approaches. They are ShadowRiders, a ruthless mercenary band that will do anything for a price. Entering the decayed courtyard, the riders turn and look to their leader for orders.
What are we doing here, Captain? Morven Reach is no place to be during the season of storms.
He told us to meet him here, Argus, and that's what we're doing as long as he pays us well. 1,000 gold per man on this jaunt, men.
Selegna, High Priest of the Church of Zendikar, arrives astride a winged, nearly spectral steed. The High Priest wears simple black robes, cowled to hide his features. Only bright emerald eyes show from the hooded depths. Selegna dismounts and walks up to the captain, removing his cowl. The mercenaries stare openly. Selegna has a thin face, hawkish nose, and cavernous green eyes. An aged burn scar in the shape of a hand figures prominently in the center of his forehead. As Selegna stands watching, the ShadowRider captain dismounts and gives a formal salute.
Tell me, Captain, would you announce your presence to the entire world?
My apologies, Lord Selegna. The men and I were just celebrating your abundant generosity.
Yes, I'm sure. Shall we get started, then? Have your men gather round. I will explain this once. On second thought, let's take this inside. I think you have made enough noise for now. After all, we wouldn't want to attract any unwanted attention. At least not until the right moment.
But sir...
Argus!
Lord Selegna, everybody knows that Morvenreach Castle is haunted. No one who enters ever returns.
Yes, I've heard that rumor also. I assure you, however, that you have nothing to fear from the mansion. Is that clear, Argus?
Yes, sir.
If you will follow me, then.
Selegna walks up to the decrepit entrance. He walks into the empty foyer, closely followed by the ShadowRider captain and his men. Selegna stops, reaching down to touch a muddy track on the rotten carpet.
What do we have here? Footprints. Yes, exquisite.
Selegna continues, then halts at the banister of a tall spiral staircase at the far end of the foyer. He turns to face the others. Soon the last ShadowRiders file in. Selegna surveys the men, his glare cold and unforgiving.
In a short time, 6 weary travelers will enter through the courtyard gates. Kill them. You will take positions outside, evenly spaced within the gates. The moment they reach the courtyard center, attack. I shall render you invisible. Thus, as long as you are silent, you will have the advantage of surprise. Once a single blow falls, the lot of you will become visible. Of the 6, I will tell you...
Why all this for 6 people? Surely...
Argus, keep quiet!
No, let him speak. I admire initiative in my servants. Tell me, Argus, what am I doing wrong?
Well, why don't we just ambush them in the deep? It shouldn't take but 6 or 8 of us, and we'd be finished long before sundown. That way...
6 of you? You overestimate your abilities, my friend. Perhaps you would be interested to know that 2 of these 6 are guild members, one of which wears the blue robes. Also, the warrior among them wields a Maldric steel blade. Though I admire your courage, I think that, in this case, you speak from ignorance. Rest assured, however, that your statements have not gone unnoticed. I've decided that a courageous, quick-thinking fighter, such as yourself, should be in a position of importance in this matter. Therefore, I've decided that you shall lead the attack by running out to strike the first blow.
Yes, Lord.
Now, as I was saying, the warrior of the group, Thangar of Maldric Forge, carries his native blade. The 2 mages are Allandra the Blue, who will be parading as a violet mage, and Krannik the Green. Blue mages, of course, possess great arcane skill, and Krannik wields powerful fire magic. The young man Elrad wears brown robes and poses no threat with a weapon. Do not underestimate him, however, for he has a strong mind, one which could easily overtake yours. Finally, we come to the woman named Trellin. Her powers are as of yet unknown to me, but be wary of that which you do not know. Slay them all, in the courtyard if you can. Now, go to your places. Though you cannot feel it, the invisibility lies already upon you until Argus strikes the first blow. Do not fail me. Oh yes, Captain, would you please stay behind? I have something to show you.
The men file out into the courtyard and take their places around the rusting iron fence. Selegna shuts the door as the last ShadowRider files out. Outside, the ShadowRiders watch the keep with suspicious eyes.
I don't like this, Gyrin. That dark priest gives me the creeps. I can't believe we're gonna kill a blue mage. Do you have any idea of the penalty for killing any guild member? The pay's not worth that much.
That's not what's keeping us here. You seen the way the captain fears Selegna. I don't blame him neither. I guarantee you, Ornick, I won't be the one to cross him.
Me neither.
Keep your mouth shut, you two. Or would you like to talk to the captain when he gets out here? He'd be pretty interested to hear about your talk of desertion.
Gyrin and Ornick share a sour look as they return to their positions.
Have mercy! Call fire!
Here, let me help you. You don't seem very steady on your feet, Captain. Your captain is not feeling well. Perhaps one of you will take him to your camp? Argus, I would advise against entering the keep now that my trap has been set. I trust you will take care of things in your captain's absence?
Yes, sir. We will not fail you.
Good. See that you don't.
Come on, sir.
Ah, Captain. Now you understand my purpose.
Starring in order of appearance, Michael A. Tomazic as the narrator, Erin A. Koch as Allandra the Blue, Bert Jean as Thangar, Chris Spittle as Krannik the Green, John Young as Father Nifigate, Chris Hutchins as Elrad, Christine Long as Trellin, Amanda Gillen as the Hag, Shane D. Fox as Argus, Jefferson Campbell as the ShadowRider Captain, Rob Berry as Selegna, John Bays as Ornick, and Darrell Goffinet as Gyrin. Ebon Storms was written and directed by Shane Ernst and Darrell Goffinet. Original music composed and performed by Edward Hauser and Scott Spear. Chief Editor, Shane Fox. Technical Engineer, Scott Spear. Art and Publicity, Shane Fox. Last Summer Productions would like to thank the Western Kentucky University Department of Music and Purdue University. This is Shane Ernst. This has been a Last Summer production.